In my last video, I mistakenly said round 5 as round 3, so pardon my mistake, and now this is round 6. Yes, I'm correct this time. This is a round 6 after the bizarre previous round. As I quoted, we join my favorite game from this round, and actually I'd be looking at two games from this round. The first game that I'm looking at is the game between Magnus Carlsen, who lost near one game against Yuyangi, and in this game Magnus is playing with white pieces against Wei. So going on this game, Magnus with white opens with e4, Wei responds with Sicilian, and this is bishop b5, check the canal attack, the so-called draw attack in Sicilian position. Knight d7 blocks the check, a4, knight f6, this is all very well known, a6 tucking the bishop back, b6 solidifying the queen side. Now the problem here for black is it's very hard to develop the queen side with this canal attack, and whereas white has already developed, and once this bishop comes out, let's say here or at bishop e3, then white can be ready to castle even queen side despite playing a4 in the position. Bishop e7, he takes the black is taking this long diagonal, also pressurizing on e4, although two pieces different, e4, but it keeps two pieces controlling this e4 square. Castles, e6, preparing bishop e7 and then castling. Rook taking the file, open file, pressurizing d6, queen c7 defends the pawn, bishop e3 putting more pressure here, so which means that this knight is somewhat tied up defending this pawn along with this queen. Bishop e7, preparing to castle, which he does, knight c4 putting more pressure on b6. Now three pieces are converging on this b6 square. And not to forget, knight on c4 is also taking control of the d6 square, which is also controlled by three pieces. So these are very tough times for black here. d5, e takes d, knight takes d. So this knight comes here to defend the pawn. Knight takes, bishop takes, and now bishop f4 attacking the queen. Queen b7 looking at this long diagonal. Ideal position would have been to have queen here and bishop here, but nevertheless. Knight d6 attacking the queen. No time to take here, the queen is hanging. Bishop takes, bishop attacks the rook. Rook fc8 takes the open file, attacks the c2 pawn, and also, not to forget, looking at here, rook a3. So this is a very good tactical idea. If bishop takes, then you play rook g3 attacking the bishop and threatening mate in 1. And if rook takes here, then bishop d3 can be very nasty, attacking this and also preparing queen h4. Queen c6, rook g3 defends the pawn, g6, bishop comes back to f4, and now queen takes c2. Bishop h6, now this is dangerous, threatening mate in 1. This can be defended by f6. Rook defends the bishop. Queen e4, queen d1, not opting to exchange queens. Queen c2, again offering the trade of queens. Queen d4, denying the trade of queens. Queen e4, so he is trying to repeat the position. Queen d1, so he's repeating. Queen c2 again. One more time queen d4, the position would be draw. So Carlsen tucks away from repeating and plays queen a1 here. Knight e5 from Wesley. Queen a1 is somewhat very odd square, and with a devastating loss that Carlsen suffered in a winning position against Yu Yang, he didn't want a draw. He would accept a defeat, but he won't take a draw for sure. And with white, he certainly won't. h4, so he's trying to push his kingside pawns just the way he did yesterday. And he could have simply played b5 here, Wesley. Just exchange everything on the queen side. b3, b takes a, b takes a, rook a, b8, taking the open file. Queen d4, a5, just fixing the pawns on the queen side so that this pawn doesn't come ahead and it doesn't get closer to its promoting square once this a6 goes, in case any weakness occurs. Bishop e5, queen c5, and this position would have been easily drawn. Nevertheless, after h4, knight f7 was played. Understandable to take this bishop. Bishop tucks back to e3, knight e6, bishop takes b6. Now black is up. Black isn't a pawn up. He just pawns are equal. Yes, I forgot that black took the pawn on c2, but white had initiative on the king side, so that's why that pawn didn't matter much. I wasn't bothered about it. Queen c6. Now this was probably a decisive mistake, because after a5, as we said, this pawn is somewhat loose looking by the bishop. Not to forget, this pawn on a5 is now 2 squares, or should I say 3 squares away from the promotion. And if this a6 goes, then this pawn can be deadly. And not to forget, it protects the bishop on b6. Knight f5 attacking the rook. Rook comes to c3 attacking the queen. And suddenly every white piece is in the charge. Queen b7, f3. Knight takes h4. Doesn't matter. You push your queen side, b4. And now rook exchange would have been better, because that would have somewhat diluted the position. But e5, it just loses time, because after rook e c1, doubling the rooks on the c file, rook takes c, queen takes c, knight f5, queen c7, offering the trade of queens. And once that happens, this rook becomes really active, and this e6 bishop is loose. White can use this rook to attack this bishop and somewhat instating threats on the pawn on a6. Knight d4, bishop took it, queen takes c7, rook takes c7, e takes d, and this a6 pawn is almost undefendable, can't be defended by the bishop. The rook controls it. Rook d7 attacks the bishop, bishop c6, rook takes d4, king f7, king f8 also doesn't matter. I would simply play rook d6, and here we resign the game. If bishop b5, you just take it, and once pawn recaptures, you play rook here and you pick this pawn up. The game is gone. So much needed victory from Magnus in round 6. This time I'm correct, round 6. Usually you see 2 rounds played every day, but this tournament is little bit bizarre, not only by the games which are played but also the format. So another game that I would like to watch is the game between Daniil Dubov and Wesley. So we joined the game after move 10 of Daniil Dubov, bishop b5, pinning the knight, and this dangerous rook d8 is on the cards. Can Wesley be able to deal with it? The answer is a big fat no. No. Bishop takes c3. What a huge error this is. Just overlooking the rook in the corner. Rook d8 check, king e7, the rook drops. Boom. You think bishop e5, this bishop is threatened? Just take the knight. Bishop takes c7, attack the bishop away. Bishop a4. White is an exchange up in this position. a6, game continued with knight e2, b5, bishop e3, bishop e6, rook f1 defending the pawn on f2, it was attacked. Bishop b7. So you might think that black has bishop pair for the compensation for the exchange, but not to be. Rook takes a8, bishop takes a8, c3, this bishop is looking to come to c2, attacking this pawn. You may see knight g3, putting more pressure here. This pawn is also in the line of kings, so you might see rook even being played also. Although rook is at the moment looking for the protecting this pawn. Nevertheless, knight g4, knight d4, knight takes h2 was a misstep. You can simply play rook h1 and gain your pawn back, but bishop c7 was played. Knight f5 check, king f6, knight e3, just creating a blockade of this pawn, so this bishop is somewhat biting on this pawn. Bishop f4, pinning the knight, but it isn't of any significance. You might see g3 being played, and this knight has to give way for this pawn. g3 comes, bishop takes, f takes, knight g4, and you check the king first, king g6, and then you pick the f7 pawn. h7 also would have been better, but f7 is also probably one of the best pawns to pick. Knight takes e3, rook a7 attacking the bishop, and bishop d5, rook takes a6 comes with check. King f5, king d2 attacking the knight, knight f1 check, king e1, bishop takes b3, king takes f1, bishop c4 check, king f2, h5 trying to create some counterplay on the queen side, but to no avail, because after a4, ba4, rook a4, bishop d3, okay, the bishop is looking really solid, but look at these two pawns, they will run down the board. They would be faster than the cheetah. Rook d4, g5, and now b4, the cheetah runs. h4, g takes h4, g takes h4, b5, king f4 trying to push this pawn down the board to create more pressure, just eliminating one of the nuisance, creating peace. E takes d, b6 wins, and here Wesley So resigns the game. Daniil Dubov outplays Wesley So comprehensively, but Wesley So also helped him. Bishop takes c3 was a terrible error by Wesley. So these were my two favorite games from round 6. In the next video I will be bringing another 2 games from round 1 each from round 7 and round 8. I hope you like my video. I hope you like what I do. Pardon my mistakes that I make in round numbers, and I'll be continuing bringing you this my analysis and my assessment. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Cheers. Bye.